The detailed program for today will be found in the chat through a link. And please feel free to ask questions to all the speakers in the chat and to us in Zero and the other organizers. We will start the program today with the Norwegian procurement project behind this whole event, and that's called Zero Emission Delivery. And let me introduce Christine Kiel, advisor for the Norwegian Agency for Public and Financial Management, and Ida Larsen, innovation broker for innovative procurements. The screen is yours.
Thank you. And welcome to this Nordic market dialogue on zero emission delivery of goods. My name is Christine, and I'm the project manager together with Ida. Next slide. The Nordic project is commissioned by the Nordic Council of Ministers, and we have two main goals. One is to increase dialogue between Nordic contracting authorities and suppliers, and two, work towards zero emission delivery of goods. In this project, there are 11 ambitious Nordic cities and municipalities, and 2 central purchasing bodies that want to see this change happen. We started this work in 2019. We had planned market dialogue activities in the spring of 2020, but due to COVID-19, we had to make some changes. We ended up publishing a request for information and held an information meeting, and this gave us valuable input. We continued with local market dialogue activities and shared experience in digital meetings. And in December, we published a joint statement on that calls for zero emission delivery of goods.
Yeah, and as you said, Christine, we published a joint statement in November 2020. And this joint statement is an important signal to the market on the ambitions from these big buyers behind the initiative. The joint statement shows that the big buyers are committed to reducing emissions, and it gives clarity and predictability to the market. You can find the joint statement on our website. I will share the link in the chat. And we think that in using public procurement strategically and involving the market, we can accelerate the transition towards zero emission logistics together. Today, we are very much looking forward to an interesting day with focus on dialogue and companies pitching their innovative solutions. And we hope you all will have an inspiring day. I'm sure we will. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Christina and Ida. Our next stop now is the capital of Sweden, an international role model for climate action. Please welcome Katarina Lur, Vice Mayor for Environment and the Climate for the city of Stockholm. Katarina, we cannot hear you.
Hun faktisk ikke. Lyden.
Okay, so we'll wait for Katarina Lur and then go to the next speaker and go back to Katarina again later. Oslo is another green capital aiming at zero emission in 2030. Please welcome Aina Villensen, Vice Mayor for Finance for the city of Oslo.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Great, yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for the opportunity to come here and talk about one of my favorite topics, public procurement. As Jenny said, my name is Aina Villensen, and I am Vice Mayor for Finance in the city of Oslo. And I just took a photograph and put as a virtual background on my iPad here to treat you to the fantastic view we have over the harbor in Oslo today. If you look very carefully down in the corner, you can actually see the electric ferry that goes to, it's a commuter ferry that goes to the neighboring municipality, Nesodden. Anyway, we are a rather small capital on a European scale, but we believe that our efforts on climate-friendly procurements have made some real impact and really deserves a mark on the map. And the main object here today for us is to show how we are, and my organization, are working strategically with sustainable procurements in order to reach the city's very ambitious goals on climate and circular economy. So you can switch. Very short, city of Oslo, we have actually passed 700 inhabitants. We're still a small city on a European scale, when we have 53,000 employees in the municipality. Actually, a couple of thousand more now due to the corona pandemic. But important in this case, we procure for around 3 billion euros every year. And this makes us a very big player in some markets. And we use this power, so to speak, in order to achieve climate goals. Please switch. We have three very important strategic documents. First of all, I would like to say to those of you who are here who work with procurements that Oslo have a decentralized model, so that the various agencies and city districts are procuring themselves. However, we have an overall responsibility, especially for larger contracts. And in 2017, we adopted a new procurement strategy. I think it's rather radical, and it has a strong green profile. And it states in the beginning that the goal of becoming an emission-free city shall always be the basis when procurements are planned. And it also emphasizes zero emissions technologies over technologies that are just fossil free, and puts focus on a circular economy. Then at the later stage, the City Council decided on the climate strategy, which is another important steering document. And the implication of that document is that by 2030, actually, Oslo shall be off using fossil fuels wherever you look, in vehicles, cars, buses, trucks, municipal transport, heating, whatever. And we shall not have any emissions of CO2. And then finally, we have the climate budget, which is a tool we use in order to make sure that we reach our climate goals. So we were, I think, as far as I know, we were the first city who introduced a climate budget, and we have integrated it into the normal financial budget. Actually, it's chapter 2 in our budget book. And the point of the climate budget is to show transparency in our climate policy, to state clearly what has to be done, by whom, when, and at what cost. And it also makes our climate policy transparent, because the budget shows whether we will reach our goals or not. Please move ahead. And as I said, the 2030 target in this strategy is very ambitious. It's a reduction by 95%. We think that is doable. And we also think that emission reductions are not to be implemented somewhere else by another time or by somebody else. We need to take action now. And that is why we have such high ambitions. And that is also why the transport sector is so important. For in Oslo municipality, transport accounts for roughly half the emissions. That has a high priority. So please move. So if we look at the targets for the mobility sector, we are already having for all municipal operation, we are demanding that things are free of fossil fuels. So construction site, public transport, district heating of buildings is all now fossil free. And we are using fossil free and zero emission criteria in various tenders when we buy products and services. However, in the future, we will be strengthening the criteria. By 2025, we will have zero emission on all municipal construction sites as a minimum criteria, and the same thing for transportation of goods and services for the municipality. And in 2028, we will have the same criteria for public transport, including buses and passenger ferries. Of course, the public transport is fossil-free by now. And of course, a lot of the public transport is already electric, trams and metro, and increasingly also electric buses. And also the passenger ferries are becoming electric. I think they will all be battery electric by the end of this year. So what we do when we work with procurement is that we see that there has been a rapid technological development in the transport sector, and more zero emission vehicles are entering the market, and we want to accelerate this. So what we do is that we award suppliers who invest in such technologies, and we give them extra credit in our tenders if they use them in our projects. So you can get up to 30% extra credit in a tender process for having emission-free machinery. In order to drive the market forward. So what actually happens is that when the market is immature, we start with awarding suppliers who can supply emission-free or fossil-free products. When the market is mature, we stop awarding and we use minimum criteria instead. And that means minimum criteria means that if you cannot supply emission-free solutions, then Oslo municipality will not buy from you. So that is a very strong tool, and we have very good experiences with that. So if you move ahead, we think we had the first zero emission construction site in the world just outside the city town hall. It was a small and not very complicated project, but you can see the electric excavator here on the photograph. We are converting the ferries to electricity, and we have converted our own vehicle fleet, and it's soon 100% electric. So there are some few more complicated vehicles left. And we are also in our contracts demanding that when you transport that transport for Oslo municipality in our contracts, whether it's transport of goods or related to services, shall all be without emissions. So if you click one more time, you will see that in the last contract Oslo municipality has signed, we are demanding that last mile transport will be with zero emissions. Can you move ahead in the presentation, please?
2 minutes left, Aina.
Thank you. So as you see on the slide, when we buy mobile phones, servers, coffee machines, and not on the list, locksmith services, we demand that they are emission-free. And if you cannot supply water coolers or service or mobile phones to the municipality with electric or other non-emission solutions, then we don't want you as a customer. So how do we get here? Well, let me, if you click one more time, I can sum it all up. Our approach to green procurement is that we have very high ambitions. We want to be climate friendly, and we also want our products to be reusable and repairable. And then we use our power as a big procurer in order to move the market forward. When the market is immature, we start with avoiding climate-friendly technologies. When the market is more mature, we use minimum criteria and we set the standards, and we say that if you want to supply anything to Oslo municipality, then you need to be emission-free. And this influences the whole market and makes big changes. And you can see that on the statistics. And I included a drawing of an electric van, because one of the things that is happening in Oslo now is that electric vans are becoming the norm. We are way ahead of all the other municipalities. And I think that is because Oslo municipality has made it very clear to all the suppliers that if you want us as a customer in the future, you need to deliver without emissions. But in order to achieve this, it's very, very important to have supplier dialogue. It's vitally important. We must, it's vital to communicate our goals to the supplier market, and we need the feedback. We need to know what is possible and what is not possible. And we need to know if they cannot meet our requirements, are there any obstacles, any potential barriers that exist that we can work together with overcoming? And does the market know of new solutions that we are not aware of that we can be asking for? So this market dialogue is vital. So to sum it all up, I think we will use this to remove emissions from the transport sector. And I'm really, really happy that my colleagues from other Nordic cities also want to use procurement and also are using procurement as a tool for zero emission deliveries. I think that is very important. We, the cities, are front runners in cutting emissions. And I hope that the other cities represented here today, as well as state entities, support this initiative and use strong environmental criteria on transport in future tenders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aina, for that vitamin injection. So now our next stop is the capital of Sweden, an international role model for climate action. Please welcome Katarina Lur, Vice Mayor for Environment and Climate for the City of Stockholm.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at this conference on the important topic of zero emission deliveries. Now, when you heard about Oslo's impressive work, I would like to give you some background and context to the City of Stockholm and our climate policies. In Stockholm, we have set a target for a city to be fossil fuel free and climate positive by 2040, meaning that we not only aim to have zero CO2 emissions, but also negative emissions by capturing and storing greenhouse gases in different ways. We also have a target for the municipalities organization to be fossil fuel free already by 2030. And we also have a climate budget contributing to the Paris Agreement, stating that the City of Stockholm can only emit 19 million tons CO2 until 2040, when we should be completely fossil fuel free. And this really underlines the importance of minimizing our emissions now and not later. These targets are ambitious and are not by any means easy to achieve, but nonetheless, we're determined to reach them, and then we need a lot of different ways to do that. Looking back, we have come a long way in Stockholm. In 1990, Stockholm emitted 5.5 tons of CO2 per person living in Stockholm. Now, 30 years later, we are down to less than 2 tons per person. So while this is an improvement, 2 tons per person are still way too much. And half of the remaining emissions are from vehicles on our roads. So our great challenge in Stockholm is to reduce the emissions from the transport sector, a challenge that we know that we share with many of you here today. But it's very important that we not only share our challenges, but also our solutions. So before I get the privilege of listening to your many great ideas and solutions, I would like to share some of the ones that we have started implementing here in Stockholm. Some of the emissions from goods delivery, of course, come from the City of Stockholm's own companies and departments, or the services that we purchase and procure. So we have started decreasing these emissions by setting rules and minimum requirements on how much CO2 the cars and trucks that are making deliveries to the city are allowed to emit. With the current rules, we are not procuring any delivery vehicles that doesn't live up to the Euro 6 standard. This is a start, but as the city's intention and targets is to electrify the transportation in Stockholm, and these requirements will increase over time as the availability of electric trucks increases. But the municipality's own emissions are, of course, only a small part of the total emissions from deliveries in our city. Therefore, a lot of our effort goes into collaborating on emission-reducing policies with our private businesses that are driving the vast majority of the delivery cars and trucks. Just now in March, the city, together with vehicle manufacturers Scania and Volkswagen and our electricity network company, launched an electrification pact. And this electrification pact is a joint effort to electrify transportation and the delivery of goods in Stockholm. And not only the goods that are delivered to the municipality of Stockholm, but all transportation in Stockholm by 2030. This will be made possible by the collaboration of different actors, and the electricity network company will expand the possibility to install charging stations for electric cars and trucks to where these are needed. This with the goal that half of all garage parking spaces will have charging points within 3 years from now. Meanwhile, vehicle manufacturers steadily are shifting to produce more and more electric alternatives as the infrastructure for them are expanded. Another of our initiatives is the Stockholm Climate Pact, formed in 2007. The Pact now has over 300 companies who have become members and thereby pledging to reduce their emissions. The Stockholm Climate Pact is connected by several international initiatives, and this year the City of Stockholm and a group of Climate Pact members are working on a project called Climate Pact Delivers within the City Business Climate Alliance, CBCA, a joint initiative from C40 cities, the Carbon Disclosure Project, and the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. And this project, Climate Pact Delivers, aims to demonstrate how actions by the City of Stockholm and Climate Pact members can reduce the climate impact of deliveries and logistics. Each participants commit to implementing and evaluating a solution on the topic of reducing climate emission from goods deliveries. In Stockholm, we also have initiatives as Älskade Stad, or Beloved City, whose representatives also will be speaking later today, and I hope that you will listen to them. This is an initiative that has cut down both the number of trucks driving in the city center as well as their emissions. This is done partly by driving emission-free trucks, but also by simple solutions that the same truck that delivers packages and goods to store, take that store waste with them on the way out. So when one truck does two jobs, there is no need for a second truck to come around just to pick up waste. So this is some examples of the policies and initiatives that the City of Stockholm is involved in, striving towards the goal of zero emission delivery of goods. In the climate situations that we're in, we have to do more and we have to do it faster. And I therefore hope that we more sustainable, and I hope you will have good ideas during this day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katarina, for a really inspiring speech from Stockholm. National procurements have been lagging behind a little bit when it comes to compared to climate leaderships in the cities, with some good exceptions. We hope that the times now are changing, so please welcome Kjetil Østgaard, Director for the Central Procurement Body of Norway.
Thank you for your introduction and your invitation to participate at your conference. I am representing the Norwegian Central Procurement Body, the CPB, Statens Innkjøpssenter in Norwegian, which is a part of the Norwegian Agency for Public and Financial Management. Our mission is to establish and manage framework agreements on behalf of approximately 190 different agencies spread throughout our country and coastline. The framework agreements are, so to speak, mandatory for the agencies. Today, we do have some framework agreements which include delivery of goods, and the logistics is an important part of these contracts. It's important to remember that the delivery is not concentrated around Oslo or other bigger towns, but spread throughout the entire country. Therefore, our demands for zero emission today is different, depending on where in our country the delivery should take place. An example, the demands for zero emission delivery in Oslo is very strict, but they are not the same at Svalbard. The Norwegian CPB has so far been a small organization, but we are in significant development and will enter many more framework agreements on behalf of the mentioned agencies in the future. An obvious part of our strategic goals is to continuously better the achievements related to all aspects of CSR. And an important part of this is how we can minimize the environmental footprints from the delivery of goods through our contracts. As one of the largest buyers in Norway, we are aware that this responsibility that belongs to us. And it has been enriching for us to participate in the project which Christine Kiel told us about prior to this conference. It clearly shows that cooperation creates development for all of us. For the Norwegian CPB, this project and targeted work has resulted in ambitious demands to the suppliers for zero emission deliveries in our ongoing tender for office supplies. And this is office supplies for all the 190 agencies spread throughout the country. I mentioned that we also are working on several future framework agreements. Most of the relevant processes in pipeline are within the ICT category. We are, for example, working on mobile devices, tablets and phones, and we are at the starting pit for computers and PC screens. And we are in early phase strategic assessment for more contracts within the same category, but there are a little bit too early to tell more about this right now. We are also working on other type of contracts. In example, short-term car rental for the agencies. Zero-emission vehicles is of course a key issue in this process. And as a clear message to all our potential suppliers in the future, we will not stop being ambitious, and our demands for zero-emission delivery will be higher and higher. In addition to the demands for zero-emission delivery, we are working on more remedies to reduce the need for transport. Keywords in this is the composition of the contracts and contractual incentives for reducing the frequency of delivery. And through this, we can improve the efficiency, which will benefit both the environment and the economy.
Minute left, Kjetil.
Thank you. A couple of months ago, the Vice Mayor of Finance for the City of Oslo, Mr. Villensen, who spoke before me, asked for or encouraged us to demand better performance for zero-emission delivery. In my opinion, we have answered the challenge with the ongoing tender for office supplies, and we will continue to answer with future tenders. And we will continue to encourage other procurement organizations to do the same. To continue the development, I think it's crucial to continue the good cooperation between procurement organizations and act predictable, facing the market and our suppliers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kjetil. Really interesting to hear that the cities and the national governments can inspire and learn from each other. But political goals are important, but it must be implemented in actual procurements to make a real change in the market. So what are the upcoming zero-emission delivery procurements for Oslo? Please welcome Geir Rossebø, Sustainability Manager Mobility in the Agency for Improvement and Development at the City of Oslo.
Thank you very much, Jenny. You can see my screen? Yeah. Thank you. I work in the Agency for Improvement and Development in the City of Oslo. We are the agency responsible for the citywide framework agreements in the municipality, and I will show you briefly our upcoming procurements in the next 2 years. See, here we go. Yeah, if you exclude the investments we have in construction works, we will have 1.8 billion annually of purchase of goods and services in the municipality. And as our Vice Mayor mentioned, we have a decentralized procurement model, meaning that each of the agency you will see on the right side will do their own procurement in the municipality. We will use transport requirements now in all relevant tenders, and we'll see more and more often that we will stipulate minimum requirements for zero emission in new tenders or upcoming tenders. My agency, the Agency for Improvement and Development, has a central procurement unit, and we are responsible for the citywide framework agreements. Those are agreements or contracts where all the agencies are mandatory to buy from. They are the type of contract which are important because of the economy of scale or other strategic important parts of it. So the next, we already conducted some agreements or contracts this year. The two first there, you will see our dynamic purchase system for light duty vehicles and heavy duty vehicles are already out, and the first tender will be out next month. But during this year, we plan to buy printing supplies, AV equipment, network equipment, furniture, electric bikes and floor mats. And these will come out in the next few months. For the next year, buying of goods, we plan to renew our contract on cleaning projects and paper, plastic, and disposable products, long name. Also renewing some of our food contracts, as well as work clothes, shoes, and protective equipment. So we have a large amount of contracts coming out, and there can also be additional contracts which is not mentioned here. And I can
1 minute left, Geir.
Thank you. And we use in all these contracts or tenders, we will use criteria for sustainability criteria, and especially important for goods contract, we'll strengthen our criteria and use minimum requires more and more often. So hopefully we'll see zero emission solutions in all this, and there's also a possibility that we will expand our criteria and look into other areas as well as to reduce traffic volumes. So this is the areas we are looking into. So if you want to know more about these, the procurement we plan, or more about our methods in using criteria for zero emission transport, don't hesitate to contact. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Geir. Now to Finland. A couple of years ago, when traveling was normal, I took the train to Stockholm and then the ferry to Turku across the beautiful Baltic Sea covered in ice sheets. Turku is also known as Åbo municipality. I was there to learn about e-buses and e-ferries. So what kind of transport procurement are you planning to electrify now? Please welcome Sari Holmberg, Project Manager, Strategic Procurement, City of Turku. The screen is yours.
Hello from Finland. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it, Sari, but could you please show the full screen in presentation mode?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you shortly about a local project we have here in Finland in order to reduce traffic volumes and in order to get Turku to be carbon neutral by 2029. City of Turku aims to find all kinds of solutions in order to be carbon neutral by 2029, and traffic emissions is part of this, and there are several projects going on. This is just one of those. And the aim is to invest in low emission and emission-free vehicles and new innovative logistic solutions in order to reach the target. The city of Kaarina is a small city close to Turku, and we are working together. They are at the moment working in order to create a climate strategy, and one part of this is to reduce volumes for goods and mail. So we have a connection to several Nordic projects, and we are sharing information and experience. And we are looking for green solutions that could be, for example, emission-free vehicles in deliveries and city hubs, digitalized ordering and logistic processes, or, for example, bicycles used in transporting. But there are certainly several other solutions as well. The aim is to create a sustainable city logistics by combining public deliveries of goods and mail with deliveries of private sector goods transport. And this is just one small part of all the deliveries for goods we have. here in Turku and Kaarina. There are several others like transport of school children, transport of food to schools, transport of elderly people, etc. But we are trying to find a logistic model that could be expanded later on to other transports. We are looking for an innovative partner in order to together develop a logistic solution for emission-free deliveries. And one aim is also to improve the safety in the city center. We started with a pilot last year, building up a city hub in Turku center. It was 4 containers, and we delivered, or DHL Express delivered 500 parcels per week for both private citizens and companies with 2 bicycles, and during wintertime with e-lorries. We found out that the deliveries with bicycles were more effective as there were no parking problems and as there were more available routes for deliveries. We also had in the same city hub a grocery shopping pickup point where people could pick up their grocery bags they have ordered, and the city hub container was installed with solar energy. And as a result, we found out that we could reduce traffic in the center and also reduce emissions. So this was an example of an innovative solution in order to reduce emissions in the center. At the moment, we have approximately 300 different addresses where we deliver public goods.
1 minute left, sorry.
We are excluding nursery goods at the moment. The volumes are relatively small, and we have like approximately 1,200 deliveries per month. In addition to that, we also deliver with different cars mail to approximately 300 different addresses with 2 cars between 8 to 16. And total kilometers for mail are approximately 10,000 kilometers per year, much more for the deliveries of goods. We think we could combine these deliveries and find out how to use zero or low emission free vehicles. The city of Kaarina has smaller volumes in deliveries, but they work in the same way, approximately 42 kilometers per day, and they also want to combine the volumes. So we are looking for an innovative partner in order to find out a solution how we could combine the deliveries for goods and mail, how to improve the safety in the center, and how to digitalize the whole process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sari from Turku. The Clean Vehicle Directive from the EU will be an important driver for change towards zero-emission transport in all of Europe in the years ahead. To give us an overview of this directive, please welcome Per-Erik Østerlund, Project Manager, Clean Vehicles for the City of Oslo. No, sorry, the City of Stockholm. Could have been Oslo.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Good morning, everyone. My name is Per-Erik. Yes, I'm sitting in Stockholm. I'm working on the Environmental Health Administration and a unit called Clean Vehicles. I should very briefly go through the Clean Vehicle Directive called CVD here in 5 minutes. So please, next slide. CVD has been around 2009 and was updated 2019 and will be implemented in August 2021 here or in autumn. That's depend of the national rules. So next slide, please. From the first, CVD sets limit for carbon dioxide emission from light and heavy vehicles. And it's a tough target. You can see here on the chart at for the light vehicles is maximum 50 grams CO2 from the exhaust pipe, and even of course electric cars. And for heavy vehicles it's tough too, but there you can use the biofuel and HVO, for example, and even biogas. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, thank you. CVD applies to purchase and procurement of vehicles and vehicle service for the state and the municipality, and complies with current CVP codes. And I do a translating of the CVP codes here. For example, public transport, that means city buses. And public transport on road in CVP code is school bus, taxi, medical travels, taxi service for disabled. And the next part of Clean Vehicle Directive is post transport, parcel transport, and it's mail, parcel, and courier transport for the municipalities. And the last one is waste transport, and translate to plain text is garbage collection. So that means that it's not all waste transports. It means garbage collections. Next slide, please. CVD applies to certain CVD codes, and CVD will make a great amount of the state and the municipality procurement, but will also be a challenge for the business community who wants to do business with the state and municipality for the next 4 years. It means that we need to have at least 38.5% of CVD light vehicles and 10% of fossil-free heavy vehicles in the end of 2025. And the requirement will also increase from 2026. For the light vehicles, you can see that that means that they only electric vehicles, and the propagation for heavy vehicles is go up to 15%. The National Agency for Public Procurement will be collecting or reporting the outcome in Sweden, but it may be other authorities in other countries in Europe. So I don't know really how we handle it in Scandinavia and even in Europe. But in Sweden, it's the National Agency for Public Procurement. So it was collecting the outcome.
1 minute left, Per-Erik.
Yep. Yeah, I do a short summary. In Stockholm, we started with taxi service in Stockholm, and we started with step by step. So due to the CVT, this is a big effort for the business community. So we have started as a step by step, 10% for 2022 and more 10% 2023 and so on. And my suggestion to all is start directly with CVD and do a short level from the beginning and increase under the time. That's my suggestion to all. And thank you for opportunity. And it's very briefly about CVD. And if you want to be heard more, you can send an email to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Per-Erik, from Stockholm, not from Oslo. So now we will have a short break. Please be back at 9:52. 9:52. Thank you very much. See you.
Welcome back after the break. Hopefully you had time to go to the toilet or fill up your coffee for the next coming presentations. Now, in the next hour, we will hear 11 short pitches for many good zero-emission delivery solutions. Then we take a break, and then we have even more good pitches. As my colleague Jenny said in the beginning, we will now show many different good solutions for the whole value chain and all solutions which is needed to get a zero-emission delivery system. And I tried to get time to as many as possible, but it was a lot of interest. So we, unfortunately, the good situation is that we have even more available solutions than we are able to show here. We will start with some presentations for available zero-emission vehicles available in the market today, or that will soon be available, which can be then relevant for demands in procurements for zero emission solutions. We will start with the first one out is Tor Øyvind Johansen from Pact. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Tor Johansen, Sales and Marketing Director of Pact AS in Sarpsborg, Norway. And next slide, please. So Pact has developed and we are offering a 100% electric vehicle for sustainable and efficient distribution of goods in urban and suburban areas. We have developed an electric vehicle tailor-made for smart city logistics solutions, whether that is last mile delivery of post and parcels, food and retail, or any other kind of goods or service of a suitable kind. The Paxter has a small footprint and is about half the size and quarter the weight of a regular van, and with its unique design, semi-open, having the driver's ergonomics and the environment in focus, both the users and the public meeting them on the roads appreciate this work tool. With a loading capacity of more than 1 cubic and a 9.2 kilowatt-hour battery, the Paxter will take you up to 100 kilometers on a full charge at maximum speed of 45 or 60 kilometers per hour. On the picture, you can see a Paxter vehicle with DHL Express Norway in Oslo, Aker Brygge. And with a geofencing solution installed, it will enable you to automatically reduce the speed of the vehicle typically in pedestrian areas like this. Next slide, please. Small footprint, big impact. Well, that's our mantra. With explosive growth in e-commerce, changing consumer behaviors and expectations in combination with growing cities, less space available for vehicles to move, and the urgent need for more sustainable solutions, a change is urgently required. Logistics companies, under constant cost pressure, are forced to find greener and more cost-efficient solutions. 40% of parcels delivered today are smaller than a shoebox in size, and 30% of deliveries are single units. Consumers of tomorrow will no longer accept having their new cell phone delivered by a courier driving a large diesel van to their doorstep. A change is required, and Paxter wants to contribute to accelerate sustainable logistics for smart cities through our experience working with companies already taking responsibility, and together we can find solutions for your operations. In the pictures, you can see some of the vehicles that Amedia purchased last year for distribution of newspapers, post and parcel across Norway. We have similar vehicles also in Örebro and Stockholm and Gothenburg and also in Copenhagen for the same kind of delivery. Next slide, please. Examples and advantages. Well, I'd like to use a statement from two of our customers currently using the vehicle. And from Post Norway, the Senior Vice President of Operational Development, Gunnar Indberg, he said that we found the Paxter to be a useful tool, especially in routes with many stops, as we save seconds on each stop. We have seen time reduction in a range of 10 to 15% on route suited for Paxter. And Norway is a challenging country with regards to weather and temperature, but the Paxter has proven itself to handle the challenge as well. And also from Mr. Jaswinder Rahud with Premier Stores in the UK, said that the Paxter is proving a great investment and has provided a great boost. It enables us to compete with bigger stores by offering a service they cannot match at the moment. We offer a 30-minute order and delivery service. And in the picture, you can see Paxter being one of the preferred solutions for DPD sustainable distribution in London city centre. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tor Øyvind. And if some of the participants has questions to Tor Øyvind, please use the chat and write the questions. And to the speakers, Tor Øyvind and other speakers, please follow to see after your presentation if there are some questions and to answer them in the chat. The next presentation will be from Espen Kristoffersen, which is Commercial Director for New Energy Vehicles in RSA. Welcome.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Espen Kristoffersen from RSA in Norway. Next slide, please. We are the importer of the Maxus brand, commercial vehicles, and BYD, Maxus in the Nordics and BYD in Norway. We have now for Maxus the setup in all the Nordic countries, including actually just started up in Finland and actually also delivering units to Greenland and the Faroe Islands. So green mobility has now reached all corners of the Nordics through Maxus. Next slide, please. For Maxus products, we have basically at the moment we're talking about things to come, but basically we have electric mobility solution in all segments. Next slide, please. For the Maxus range, the largest van we have is a full-size large van called E-Deliver 9. It's for delivery now. It has battery sizes so from 51 kilowatt to up to 88 kilowatt. It also has a chassis solution up to long length L4. It offers also N1 and N2 solutions. Just recently in Norway, the regulation for N2 driving without taking a break is approved, so we can use electric mobility. So we see that's a great opportunity. It has all the modern equipment, CC fast charge, and also of course with 88 kilowatt, you have very long range, and also AC charge, also with 3-phase charging. So it's a fully modern vehicle in all shapes and sizes and all availabilities. Next slide, please. We offer the E-Deliver 3. It's a 4.8 cubic van and a 6.3 cubic van, so covering a large part of the van market. It's purpose-built as only an BEV product, giving it much more payload than any other competition. That means it has exactly the same payload as a comparable diesel vehicle, and it offers class leading range. Next slide, please. This is for a passenger car, but also as a van in Norway and Denmark for inner city and courier driving. It's offered now as a 2-seater van. So it's a van, passenger car type van with long range and passenger comfort. Next slide, please. For BYD, we have the van, 3.5 cubic van with 50 kilowatt battery, giving WLTP measures of the combined 265 for city driving 310. It has more of a passenger feel with more windows for shorter community driving, and it's offered also all over Norway now and launched in Norway now. Please, next slide. From BYD, we have a test trial also the 7.5 ton truck, which is now in test trial, will be next month here in Norway. From Maxus, we will from Q1 2022, we will have also a 7.5 ton truck. This is with battery ranges of roughly 200 kilometers. So covering for inner city driving and commuting and for distribution solutions. Next slide, please. Today we have very good success with Maxus in Norway and starting up in the other Nordic markets. We have our larger customers, as view there, of Posten in Norway is our largest partner at the moment, and many of the distribution partners all over the Nordics are picking up, and we are increasing the sales a lot and our distribution of vehicles. Please, next slide. We think that electric mobility is not something we talk about. It's not something that will happen in the future. It is here now. We offer vehicles in all categories, and basically we are running the operation. We can deliver electric mobility from stock in Norway within the markets within a few weeks. So basically for us, it's not talking about what's happening in the future. We can deliver all our vehicles fast to all customers all over the Nordic region for Maxus and for BYD in Norway. I think that was my last slide.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Espen, and it's really good to see that we finally have a lot of good models for a new electric vans for delivery purposes. The next one out is Per Netland. Welcome.
Hi, thanks. My name is Per Netland. I work for Bertil Steen as Fleet Sales Manager. We represent in Norway Mercedes-Benz, Peugeot, Opel, Citroën, and DS and Smart, and also Fuso Conte, which is a 7.5 ton truck. Unfortunately, not in this presentation, but if you have any questions about it, please contact me. Next slide, please. I would like to start with our brand Mercedes-Benz and our very new launch of the long-range EV2 Tourer, which is available both as a van and as a passenger car up to 9 seats. It has a really good range, 366 kilometers, due to the big battery pack of 100 kilowatt hours. It also has a fast charge capability of up to 150 kilowatts, so you can use this car for really long range transports. Prices will be introduced next week, but they will be competitive. The other van is the Mercedes-Benz E-Sprinter with a slightly shorter range, about 150 kilometers. It's a larger van, mostly used for distribution in city traffic. Both of these vans are available. They're under production. Delivery is 2 to 4 months, depending on specification, but they are all now in full production, and we get the vehicles as we order them. Next slide, please. That brings us to our next brands from Stellantis or from a PSA, Peugeot, Opel, and Citroën. It's the triplets. We are delivering, selling quite a lot of the mid-size vehicles, the Citroën E-Jumpy, the Peugeot Expert, and Opel EV Varo. All of them with a range of over 300 kilometers or whatever. They all have trailer towing capacity of 1,000 kilos. The big news for us this year is the Peugeot partner, the Opel e-Combo, the Citroën e-Berlingo, that will be introduced and priced in May. We know a lot about them. They will have a range of 275 kilometers. They will have a battery pack of 50 kilowatt hours. And they will be delivered in 2 sizes. The mid one in the picture with the long version and the shorter version down. They will all be available for delivery end of this year. Production starts just over summer. Next slide, please. The Bertil Steen has a long experience in supplying zero-emission commercial vehicles for large fleets. We've done that since 2003 when we delivered the first big fleet to Norway Post. We also have a long experience in looking into the obstacles, the challenges, and things you need to look into when you do convert large fossil fuel fleets into electric. Because it's not just to put a socket in the charger and think that solves it. The new this big battery packs demands bigger and faster charging grids.
Next, half a minute left.
Yeah. So we have a long experience. We have a lot of satisfied customers, and let me know. We'll might be able to help you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was a short half minute. Perfect, Per. Very good to hear, both from you, Per, and from Espen. And what we are shown now is that we have a lot of new models with long range, which can have a full day of work, which is available for all sizes, nearly all sizes of van. So then for all new tenders in all the Nordics, now all deliveries which can be doable with vans, they are available with zero emission solutions. So it's just to make that as a requirement for all new tenders. But what about the larger deliveries for the trucks? The next one to answer that, what is happening and what is available, is Kjetil Bergfløt from Volvo. Welcome.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. As you all know, Volvo Trucks is one of the world's largest manufacturers of medium and heavy-duty trucks. And we do have solutions on battery electric vehicles up to now 44 tons. We have solutions on liquid biogas up to 60 tons. And we have a very ambitious common effort together with Daimler Group to be able to offer a relevant solution on hydrogen fuel cell trucks. My role with Volvo Trucks is that I'm responsible for our offer on alternative drivelines in the Norwegian market, but what I'm going to present goes for all Scandinavian markets. Next slide, please. Here you see our full range of electric trucks. When I made this presentation, we had not had the release on all models yet. That was actually yesterday, so it's kind of big news for us. Now we have all our 5 models available as battery electric vehicles. Short on range and capacity, so we are able to do up to 300 kilometers. We have continuous power of 490 kilowatts, maximum torque 2,400 Newton meters, and battery capacities are up to 540 kilowatt hours. According to the Eurostat statistics, road freight transport by distance, 45% of all goods transported on roads in the EU travel a distance less than 300 kilometers. So there's a great potential for electrifying most of this transport. Not all, but most. I think we now can say that we are clearly in the lead on technology. For quite some time, expectations and also decisions has been made based on even if we have taken this lead now, we still want to push for progress, and we have plans towards longer and heavier transports. For example, it's known that we have a customer collaboration in Sweden where we do 60 ton between Gothenburg and Jönköping. And as I said, we are working together with Daimler to bring forth a fuel cell that will be relevant.
1 minute left.
The 2 trucks on each side on the foil is the trucks currently delivered, and now the 3 others are available to order. Next slide, please. Even if we have this great improvements of battery electric technology, there is still not possible to do all kinds of transport battery electric. So we find that the liquid biogas solution is very, very relevant. And here Posten is doing 60 tons, 180,000 kilometers a year. And they say this one truck alone represents a CO2 reduction equal to 90 smaller post deliveries. Fuel cells will also be relevant on longer transports, of course. Next slide, please. Driving progress and real-life applications. We are learning a lot these days with the trucks being delivered in Norway. There are a lot of questions towards range, how to charge, where to charge, when to charge, and so on. We have good tools to calculate this, and we have a lot of experience now with different superstructures and applications, and we can give good advice and find the best, most beneficial solution for each transport. So my short message is to really let us look into it, what we can do together. Make contact with your local Volvo truck representative or me, and I'll put you in contact with the right resources. I will also be available in the chat going forth in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kjetil. So if you have some questions for Kjetil and Volvo, please use the chat to ask a question to him. Sweden is large on producing trucks, and Volvo is now all in for electrical trucks. But what about Scania? Please welcome Jon Laustad.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Yes, we are also, of course, working very hard to get more sustainable transport. We have been delivered gas, biogas, ethanol, HVO, yes, all the alternatives that you can buy, then you can use them in our trucks. But in this presentation, I'm going to talk about what we are doing concerning electricity. So next slide, please. Here you can see our range. We start the production this year of these trucks. And in Scania, we have a modular principle. So you cannot see that this is an electrical truck when you see it on the road because it's similar to all the other trucks. We will start the production of it as plug-in hybrid because we are seeing that some transport need to go long, and then it will be better for them to go at an alternative fuels, and then you can switch over to the electrical engine when you are coming into the cities. So that's the plug-in hybrid, and it has range about 60 kilometer electric. Then we have the next one, that's a 5 battery full electric truck. And the range is about 10 kilometers, 900 kilometers. The charging time about 40 minutes, and the weight increase will be about 700 kilos. All these trucks we can deliver from 16 to 29 tons total weight. And then we have the biggest one with 9 batteries and a range up to 250 kilometers. And the weight on the truck will increase about 2 tons. In Norway, we will get 1 ton extra on these trucks from the authorities. So the loss of loading will be about 1 ton. Next slide, please. Yeah, when we are making an electrical truck, there is a lot of things that we have to consider. And also the safety of the driver, because the voltage in this truck is rather high. It's about 750 volts when we are charging. Here you can see the battery packs that we are using, and we have also been doing crash tests on the battery packs because you can see they are outside of the frame. So we need to have a good impact of the battery cells. So there won't be any damage. But if you go to the YouTube, you can see a movie where we are testing the crash test on the battery pack.
Jon, 1 minute left.
Yes, the next, please. Yeah, here you can see a lot of application. This is tricky for the electrical trucks because on trucks we are have a chassis that are transporting some body that we are going to use. So we also need power to this one. Next picture. This truck is in operation already in Norway. We have been running for more than a year with a full electrical 2 trucks. We have 4 hydrogen trucks testing in Trondheim, and also this 4x2 trucks at Posten. So now we have started up and delivered trucks to the customer. Next, please. And this is the ramp up. As you can see that we will increase our production and also what kind of trucks that we can deliver in the future. So now we are just in the beginning, and I think this will go rather fast when it starts. Next, please. And we can end up with this one. It's a lot of things that you have to consider when you are going for an electrical truck. One is the charging, how you can charge, but also repair and maintenance, the complete vehicle, driver training. Driver training is very important. And then you have the range, the law and the regulation, and also the customer demand. So you have to consider all this when you are going electrical. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jon. And for the coming, for the rest of the program, we will also touch upon that one, both on charging and the users and for transport services. So that we will cover that part more. So very good to hear that both Volvo and Scania is now finally producing and delivering electrical trucks, at least which is suitable at least for city deliveries. And we have renewable fuel for long distances, but for city deliveries we have now available also zero emission solutions. That's very good. But not all deliveries needs a large truck in the, but some deliveries can also be sold by bicycles. So please welcome Halvard Lillevik.
Thank you. There I'm unmuted, so can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I have been sitting here listening to Scania and Volvo, and as you say, I'm going to take the sizes of the vehicles a bit down now because we are in the electrical bicycle business and then the electrical cargo bike business. I think that we are the oldest company in Norway working with electrical bicycles, started in 2008. Not maybe electrical bicycles, but electrical cargo bikes. So if you take the next slide, please. We can deliver, Sykkelsentralen can deliver all over Norway, all kinds of vehicles, also cargo bikes, electrical cargo bike vehicles in all kinds of sizes. This is pictures of some of a maintenance guy and maintenance bikes, but we also have the possibility of delivering bikes that can carry 1,500 liters of packaging, 200 kilos of weight, easy to change batteries, so you can bike the whole day around the city, and you can get them in all types, all shapes. So it's just a matter of what you need. Take contact with us, and we can try to find solutions for you. We are working with the high-end producers in Denmark, Netherlands, and Germany. So we have quite of range in our product spectrum. All bikes are accessible now. We have it's possible to have service availability all over Scandinavia. So we have a good infrastructure for the bike we are selling. Could you take the next slide, please? There are some advantages when it comes to bikes, small carriers, also compared to small carrier cars. The bike is juridical. Also, the electrical cargo bike is by law the same as a bicycle, so as a regular bicycle. So you don't get you can use all kind of roads. You have access to all kind of areas. You don't have to be. Of course, you have to bike gentle, but you don't have to be prohibited by the, for example, one-way tracks and all the stuff that the bikes have. You can cars. Thank you. You can take the efficient way. It's price effective. It's health increasing, and of course, there's low power consumption of it. If you take the next slide, please. We have a lot of customers in Norway. Typical internal freight use, the universities, one of the biggest airports, even also we have a road construction firm. We also have actually the Royal Castle, which we are a bit proud of. So this way of handling smaller goods is not something for tomorrow. It's happening today. It started yesterday. We have the bikes, we can deliver fast, and I would like to hear from everybody that has some kind of questions or are curious in whatever we could deliver when it comes to electrical cargo bikes. Thank you for our time.
Thank you very much, Halvard. now we have had 5 good presentations and showing all kinds of different vehicles, from the cargo bikes to the large trucks, but all of them needs charging, and we need charging infrastructure to have the whole ecosystem working for zero emission deliveries. So next speaker is Lars Tveitland Østfold from Siemens.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lars, and thank you for the opportunity to participate and pitch Siemens future grid e-mobility charging infrastructure for zero emission goods delivery. Next slide, please. Siemens covers all building blocks of depot electrification and grid connection. We're delivering the medium voltage switch gears, the transformers, the low voltage switching cabinets, the chargers, dispensers, hoods, and pantographs, microgrid with battery, and also solar power.
I think we lost your sound, Lars. Okay, Lars, we don't hear you. So then I think we move to the next pitch, and we will come back to Lars if we can solve the technical challenges. Okay, then we jump for the presentations, and we go to the transport service suppliers, which are doing a large share of the deliveries for goods to public and private companies in the tenders. So the first one for this part will be Ulf Hammersberg from DHL. Welcome. Ulf? We don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you to inviting us to this interesting meeting. DHL as a global player and as a big group, we have strong responsibility when it comes to sustainability. Of course, it is our responsibility because our business activities leave a trace. We have a huge impact on climate, and that's why we have a responsibility to reduce our emissions in order to contribute to stop climate change and to meet the expectations from our stakeholders. We have a strong track records on sustainability, and we are proud to many existing programs. Go Green, for example, that goes to the climate. And with our long-term zero emission target 2050, and now for 2 weeks ago, we released a strategy 2025. We fully incorporated sustainability in our group sustainability. Next slides, please. We created a new sustainability roadmap, as I said, for 2 weeks ago. We'll guide efforts through the next years. And we see 3 main commitments on, and one of them are clean operations and climate protections. And we continue explaining our products portfolio with green alternatives. And this Skicka Grönt is a Swedish solution for our customers since, well, next year it will be 20 years celebrating. And right now we have about 600 customers. And last year it was about 150,000 shipments in the system. And it's a fossil-free solution for our customers. But one part of the climate protection program is that we are committed to provide a green first and last mile and line haul solutions. And we continue to electrification the fleet of 60% of our last and first mile deliveries and vehicles by 2030. Next slide. What's this solution, Skicka Grönt? All customers can buy it and have done so for a couple of years. And it's can see maybe some tricky to see that on the down. You can see what kind of solutions, that technologies that we used, and our partners that we are collaborating with is of course Scania and Volvo here and others. To the left we have the last week we started with a 60 tons Volvo in a full electric between our terminals. In the daytime we are in part loads in Gothenburg area, and we also have Scania's ED95 and biogas solutions in the local areas, and long distance LNG trucks for more heavy goods, and also cargo bites in some cities. Yeah. We take next slide. This is lots of wordings here. I will not go through it, but we use various climate change solutions and where it costs more money, and we help the subcontractors with the extra cost. So we have contracts with them, and so they can invest in new solutions. Next slide. This is finally, you can see what customers are having from us. You need to measure the emissions, of course, so you know how much it is, and what then you can buy the Skicka Grönt and do others to reduce your climate reductions. And in the middle you can see what we in DHL working on every day, the optimization with the biofuels and the filling levels and routings and optimizations using trains and so on. That's our part and our responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If we need to stop there, and
thank you.
The presentations will be at the web page after the conference, so people can also go and look more into detail for what which is not been covered by these short pitches. Next, perfect, thank you. The next one out is DB Schenker and Peter Stangeland. Welcome.
Hi everyone, thanks for the invitation for us to participate here today. We're going to talk about Oslo City Hub. Next slide, please. Our solution was our Oslo City Hub was the world's first emission-free distribution center in the capital of Norway. Today we are delivering all goods 100% emission-free. The solution is up and running. We started with this in 2018 with partially emission-free distribution. And as you see on my screen, Oslo was the European environmental capital from EU in 2019, and we were a proud ambassador for that. With this solution today, we are saving the community with 300 tons of CO2 on an annual basis. And we have created a little hashtag, Stop Talking Act. We can all do something, but we have to take it from talking to actually do something. Next slide, please. As you see here, you see our one of our cargo bikes. On the left, on the cargo bike, you see all the goods that are actually fit in those two cargo boxes. We see that many municipalities around in Norway and other countries are putting a harder and stronger focus on emission-free solutions and sustainability when they are procuring new goods. So they are then looking for emission-free distribution from their customers to their offices and wherever those might be. For Oslo, there are not too many options or to deliver that emission-free, except one carrier, which is speaking at the moment. As we see, yes, our solutions are emission-free, but something we don't talk about too much is the noise reduction, which is also heavily reduced when the trucks are not on idle and you don't hear the engines going around in the streets. There's a challenge also with the emission-free, let's say, emission-free targets, because many municipalities are also taking away the delivery zones for the trucks. And this is then creating an issue for goods that are larger, which do not fit in this cargo bike, as you see here on the screen. When it's larger goods, this cargo bike takes 300 kilos. And if you see the boxes, if they're larger or longer goods, then it doesn't fit. So we need parking in all municipalities so we can deliver goods to our customers. But we also see customers that needs to adapt. Some of our customers are very aggressive and wants to be a part of the emission-free and sustainable solutions that we offer. We'll have one of these customers, actually, you're going to listen to one of them here in a short while. But some customers also are a little bit reluctant to be a part of the sustainable journey because it's too early for them, or they need to do some changes in their delivery plans or other topics.
1 minute left.
No worries. Thanks. Next slide, please. We have been delivering emission-free in Oslo and Bergen since 2018. Not fully emission-free in 2018, but we're doing it now. So this is a solution that is available already today. We have the largest fleet of fuso electric delivery trucks in all of Europe. You see on the picture here. And as you also see, our sustainable and emission-free solutions are helping our customers to win bids from the municipalities already. As you see here on the picture, we have the managing director for OneMed. They just won a big bid from the municipality of Oslo. I assume John will say something more about that. So our solutions are available. Stop talking, start acting. Thank you.
Very good, Peter. Stop talking, start action. Very good. And good to see that you have zero emission delivery services available in several cities already. Very good. Then the next one out is from Sweden, Clarence Ström from Ragn-Sells, about the Älskade Stad City Hub in Stockholm.
Yes, hello. Hello, thank you for the invite. My name is Clarence Ström. I work as a project manager at Ragn-Sells Recycling. Ragn-Sells is a family-owned business operating in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Estonia. We work with logistic solutions regarding waste and goods management, both upstream and downstream. We reduce waste, we also recycle waste materials, and we do detoxing of waste materials. Ragn-Sells is also part of a collaboration called Älskade Stad, or Beloved City translated into English. Next slide, please. Yeah, okay, so the basic idea of Älskade Stad is to electrify the last mile transport of goods combined with first mile waste management. Älskade Stad is currently active in Stockholm and Malmö in Sweden and Oslo, Trondheim in Norway. The project started in 2017 in Stockholm. Or okay, it's not even a project anymore. It's actually an ongoing business model. We left the project phase a couple of years ago. A central hub is key. Next slide, please. The freight carrier deliver goods to the hub. The hub is symbolized by the yellow building in the picture to the right. From there, slow-moving electrical vehicles are delivering the parcels to recipients and also pick up return goods. Bins containing waste is also brought back to the hub and becomes joint loaded into larger containers, a compactor, for instance. These big compactors are then picked up and emptied during night time to reduce traffic jams and so forth in the city center. And you see in the picture some arrows, you see goods moving in, waste moving out, and the small movements of the electrical vehicles within the city center. Next slide, please. Stockholm. Klara Zenit is a building in the city center where we have our logistic hub. The area in which we do the Älskade Stad deliveries is defined by zip codes. We deliver approximately 4,500 to 5,000 parcels per month, and we collect approximately 6 tons of waste within the concept. The numbers is from 2020. And we also do a off-peak transport, emptying of the compactors that I mentioned in the last slide. To the right, you see some lead words that is a result of this collaboration. And down on the left side, you see the partners in Stockholm, Ragn-Sells, that's us. We are operating the terminal and the electrical vehicles. Bring, who is the delivery company that brings in all the parcels to the hub. Vasakronan, a real estate owner. And Stockholm Stad, the city of Stockholm. Next slide, please. This is a map over the area of operations when it comes to parcels. The Klara Zenit logistic hub is marked in the center with a red dot. And as you see, this is zip codes. Next slide, please. This is an area of operation when it comes to waste within the concept. It's slightly larger, as you may see. We also have a secondary hub, the smaller dot above the bigger one. It's a kind of it's also a hub, but it's only used for waste, and we use that as a plan B hub if we have some problems in the main hub. For instance, a compactor is broken or something, we can move the waste to the secondary hub.
Clarence, half a minute left.
Next slide, please. Yes, and this is a picture of a variety of vehicles we are using in the concept of Älskade Stad. In Stockholm, we currently use the big one in the middle and the slightly smaller one down on the right side. It's an electrical tow truck with an attached trailer, suitable for both goods and waste. Next slide, please. And that's about it for me today. Please visit the webpage, älskadestad.se. There you will find more information. And we also have a contact form there if you want to get in touch with somebody in the collaboration.
Perfect. Thank you, Clarence. And as you see, Bring is a company which is working together with Ragn-Sells at Älskade Stad. And the next presentation is from Bring. Johanna Ström, welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Fine. Yeah, we
hear you fine. Perfect. So hi, my name is Johanna Ström. Thanks for having me at this important conference addressing zero emission deliveries of goods. Bring and its mother company, the Postal Services of Norway, Posten, has worked with sustainable solutions for many years and is really on a journey from fossil through fossil-free towards emission-free logistics. And at this point, we have a solid base of fossil-free transports, for instance, reaching 50% of the population in Sweden with last-mile fossil-free solutions. Excuse me. We don't packet our solutions as zero emissions to the clients, though. For instance, in our service of home deliveries of small packages in cities where we do have a lot of electric vehicles, what we call urban home deliveries, you never pay extra for getting an electric delivery rather than a fossil-free delivery. Our view is that we as a company are making this change as soon as we possibly can, and that our clients are with us on that journey. From what we can see now, the prices on smaller electric vehicles, together with a charging infrastructure of our own, can well be competing with the costs relating to diesel. And for some locations where possible, we have already completely gone over to electricity. For instance, the postal deliveries in 49 cities in Norway and the areas where we operate through the Älskade Stad concept mentioned before. So please change picture. So Bring has the ambition of being the most sustainable logistics provider on the market, and we invite our clients to join us. We offer our clients climate reports so that the steps towards sustainable logistics also can be followed through one's own volumes delivered. And here are some examples on how we work. For instance, we have set an end date of purchasing new fossil vans and light trucks in 2022 for cities and 2023 for outside of cities. Please change picture. We have made the largest investment in Norway in electric larger vans. 70 SAIC Maxus have been ordered to the fleet. We have invested in the electric vehicle company Insile to be able to have an input on the requirements needed in an electric delivery van. We've joined a partnership with Volvo Trucks to be able to test a new heavy truck in city locations. And so I talked before about the cost being almost 1-to-1 in smaller trucks now. On heavier trucks, we see that we have some way to go before that is happening, but we are determined to go that way there as well. Posten and Bring has procured 2 of the first heavy electric trucks on the market in Norway from MAN and Scania. And finally, yes, and finally, I just want to mention that we invest in our terminals and our electric infrastructure so that we work efficiently with the electricity needed, since it is a bit of a scarce resource today, and that the electricity we do use is from renewable sources. For instance, today we have over 5,000 square meters of solar panels on our terminal rooftops throughout the Nordics. So that was all for me. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat or email me at johanna.strom@bring.com. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Johanna. Very good to hear that your experience now is also for smaller vans, then electrical and zero emission solutions are competitive with fossil diesel, also for prices. That's a very good development and very good to hear. And that's also another good reason for why all procurements now can demand zero emission solutions that shouldn't add any larger cost for the transport service. Now we have heard 10.5 good pitches. The half one we try after the break. Now we take a 5 minutes break so that you can go to the toilet and add on some more water, and we will continue with some very good and exciting presentations after the break. Please be back at 10:52.
Hello, this is a sound check from Larsen Siemens. Does anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm
Thank
ready.
you. Great. We see you at 10:52, and your slides are ready to be shown after the break. Great.
Thank you very much.
Vi skulle vært ferdig med pause 10:44.
Welcome back. Hope you had time to get some fresh coffee or tea or what you prefer, so that you are ready for the last part of this dialogue conference. And we have 7 or 7.5 good presentations left for zero emission transport solutions, delivery solutions. And we start with to try now to hopefully have a better line to Siemens, and so that we can learn more about the charging, what's needed and what's available for good charging solutions for all the electric vehicles we are going to change to the next weeks and months. Welcome, Lars.
Thank you very much, Marius. Happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about the infrastructure for zero emission delivery of goods. Once again, we'll try. Next slide, please. Siemens covers all building blocks of depot electrification and grid connection, and all charging infrastructure use cases. We deliver the medium voltage switch gears, transformers, low voltage switching cabinets, chargers itself, and dispensers, hoods, and pantographs. We also do microgrids with battery and solar power. Next slide, please. It can be challenging to electrify your fleet due to a large number of details to consider. Intelligent planning is needed. Setting up the best solution for you is taken care of by Siemens engineers and project managers. Next slide, please. Siemens offering is products for all use cases. What you see from the left side is the AC products up to 22 kilowatts, wall box or a pole. What we're more into probably here today is regarding the larger trucks. For instance, you can look into the DC public charger, the C-Charge D. It's up to 300 kilowatts DC charging. And we have this product portfolio called the C-Charge utility charging. And it's 100 kilowatts to 300 kilowatts fast charging for trucks and delivery vehicles. But in the end, what type of vehicles or mix of vehicles and your daily operation will define the solution that will fit your need. Next slide, please. More into the C-Charge D. This is a perfect public truck stop charger. It's a flexible charger. If you have the need today for 160 kilowatts, then you can invest in that, and later on you can power up with power modules inside the cabinet, and after the installation it takes about 2 hours. It's ready to charge on a different level, maybe 240 if that is your need. It has
Lars,
full
1
dynamic.
minute left.
Yeah.
1 minute.
It has full dynamic load allocation. It's able to charge 4 trucks, cars at the same time. The dispensers are coming late this year. Next slide. Looking into multi-purpose flexible energy solution for supply on demand. This is for zero emission to charge battery electric construction vehicles with 160 kilowatts simultaneously, 2 at a time, from one containerized solution. It's also a power plant, virtual power plant possibility, and we can use the microgrids and all talking to the cloud. I will also invite the DSOs to contact me on this topic. Next, please. This is for you to read afterwards. And the next. So please contact me and get in touch. We'll set up a solution for you. It's something I would like to talk to you after this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Lars. Very good to see that we have flexible solutions for charging, for the upscaling of the market, which are happening now, and we need smart solutions to have so that we can fix the charging at as low cost and good solution as possible. To have a total shift to zero emission delivery services, we need to have smart solutions, smarter logistics solutions also for more efficient and lower transport need and lower transport cost. So now we will have a presentation from Harald Sævareide. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. I am Harald. I'm the CEO of Nivel, a Norwegian GovTech startup delivering digital regulation tools to help cities take control of the public space in order to make everything tidier, safer, and with better mobility. Next. We are first controlling shared e-scooters, and now I'm going to explain the principles here of digital regulation and how can this be applied to goods deliveries in cities as well. Thanks. Next. So all these new business models and mobility services will require a new way of that the scooter companies or delivery companies are having like really sophisticated digital fleet management to optimize their fleets. We will provide the tool. We are providing a tool that makes cities capable of having the same type of digital regulation with real-time data and smart algorithms and economic incentives. Next. So this all works with a two-way data exchange. On the one side, the city defines the rules, the zones, and the fees, and on the other side, the operator companies deliver position data so that you can calculate fees or subsidies, and of course get a lot of analytics on how everything is going on. Next. So we are delivering a standardized user-friendly tool for city administrations, and which is flexible enough to cater for any local differences. Next. And this is just a screenshot on how it's working in Bergen, where we are regulating 5 different operators and over 2,000 scooters. Next. So how will this apply to delivery of goods? With digital regulation, you'll get the flexibility and dynamics to change the rule in order to get the impact you want without any physical infrastructure to be made. Next. That was not next, but I can share my screen. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, screen.
Yeah, try to share a screen.
Where?
Sorry for that. You just had you had too many slides, so then you were cut off. Perhaps.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, so if you think of the e-scooter as an IoT device, you can also think of the van or the delivery goods as an IoT device. And you can just say, okay, if we want to deliver services in our city, you have to share data and comply to the rules and pay the applicable fees. So it goes in the same way. So with digital regulation, you can actually fence off everything digitally and add different kinds of rules. For instance, saying that you can have different rules for different times, and you can actually have speed limits on Paxters and stuff like that, and subsidize cargo bikes in order to get what you actually want. And so the city administrator sets targets, and everything is being regulated dynamically to reach the desired impact. And we all get all of this nicely and in place, really, really inexpensive. And you also get safer streets. Thank you for your attention. And I'm looking forward to talking to you to discuss how we can develop this into any of your cities.
Thank you very much, Harald. Very good that you, on short notice, could take over the screen showing your presentation. And very good to see that many cities are working with zero emission zones. And very good to see that we have software technologies, smart solutions to make that to make such kind of zones in an easy way that we're using big data or data. We will now have some good owners that has implemented zero emission solutions. We will start with Jan Knoff from OneMed. Welcome.
Thank you for that. Next, please. OneMed is the largest provider of medical disposables and equipment to municipalities and hospitals in Norway, with about 10,000 SKUs that we deliver. In Oslo, we have around 1,000 delivery points to emergency care, to nursing homes, kindergartens, schools, everyone that needs a medical product. And so we are one of the larger users of the roads in Oslo, you can say. We have been delivering about 80% electric for the last three years in Oslo. Now we are, from May, we're up to 100% with our partner Schenker that do the physical transportation for us. And we have also been 100% electric in Bergen for the last 3 years. Next one, please. So I think it's quite obvious that electric distribution has its advantages. I think it also, and it's not hard for any distributor like us to be electric. You just need to have the right partner, and we, as I said, use Schenker for that. And you need to have a partner that is really passionate and dedicated and having the infrastructure and the willingness to invest in the necessary vehicles, if it's cargo bikes, if it's trucks or vans, and all the different means that you need, from everything where we deliver 10, 15, 20 pallets to one place to another kindergarten where we just deliver maybe a Band-Aid or something. So you need to have that flexibility, and it's not difficult either for the municipalities to provide for electric transport from their suppliers, but it's not really enough to just put it into the tender or into the contract and then measure the KPIs every second year or twice a year or something. They are made availability for the electric distribution also in city centers and in the suburbs. And what's important for us is that when a truck is then unloading and delivering the goods to a nursing home or wherever for a 20 minutes time with his 3 pallets, then he should be able to charge the vehicle at the same place. That will really extend the use of the electric vehicles. And so that should be
half a minute left.
Yeah, that should be facilitated for. And the other thing is that we are now obliged to have from 8 to 15 delivery time to all areas, which is the middle of the congested times, which means that we should be able to deliver at night, in the evening, etc. That is quite common all other places. So that's my 2 points to the municipalities. Make availability for flexibility and charging, and then we can really extend our electric offering to all our customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan, and it's really good to hear that you are 100% zero emission now in 2 cities and increasing, and also the message to the municipalities, the important part of increasing the charging infrastructure to speed up the implementation and development. That's a really important message. So hopefully all the municipalities participating today is working with it and will increase the implementation. Very good. The zero emission transport solution for tomorrow might very well look a bit different than what has been so far. Not just for the engine inside the vehicle, but also the total vehicle and distribution system. So we are pleased to have one of the companies leading the development for drones, as also for larger transport services, with Volvo present here today. So please welcome Peter Littau.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me there today. It's an honor and a pleasure for us to be presenting today to also Nordic municipalities whom we envision as our partners to implement new solutions. Unfortunately, I cannot talk to you in person today, but from my home office, this gives me the chance to wear a jacket in my home office, which is not too bad. The unfortunate thing is that there are some construction works going on, shaking the whole house. So if you hear some noise, I will try to be as clear as possible to the microphone. So when we go to the next slide, my name is Peter Littau. I'm leading the commercial activities of the Volvo drone, which is our cargo version that I will introduce on the next slide. So the cargo version stands next to the passenger drone that we are building at Volocopter, which is a fully electric aircraft for inner city missions. And this aircraft is as safe as any plane that we would step upon when we go on holidays again, hopefully very soon again. So, and we serve the highest safety standards with that technology to be able to fly from airports to inner cities or from island to island with our passenger aircraft, and same with our heavy lift drone that carries up to 180 parcels in one box. So the interesting thing about this is when we look at cities where we live, we want to have it quiet above our heads. And this is where our concept serves perfectly as the leader currently in the whole industry as the quietest eVTOL, electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. When we go to the next slide, we see that our company has already achieved significant milestones. And we are not talking about conceptual things. We are talking about flights that have been taken off with official permits to flies from the local authorities. We are looking at this industry currently, and there are hundreds of concepts, but nobody can say what the company of Volocopter that I'm proud to work with can say is that we have flown in Las Vegas, in Dubai, fully autonomously, even in Singapore next to the beautiful Marina Bay Sands Hotel. And this technology that we developed since 2011 is now applied also in the Volodrone. And on the next slide, you will see that the vehicle is actually built up. It's not a concept, it's there, it's flying and testing on a constant basis. It carries up to 200 kg, can fly up to 40 kilometers in range. And we think that, and this is on the next slide shown, that this technology is the perfect answer to the trends that we see in the Nordics. You guys want to be ahead of renewable energy and green energy. We love that. We are looking for cases that make economically totally sense to bring our contribution with our newest technology to you. And on the next slide, I want to show you some use cases. And one of them is the urban middle mile, where John Knopp's one-made cargo bikes with DB Schenker could actually be a super good adaptation. We can bring the last for you. We cover the middle mile, and John, you take care of the last mile with your cargo bike, and we save the cargo bike guy to drive back to the warehouse to collect new parcels. So this is one. Island logistics is the other. Low mountain logistics is the third. And shore-to-ship logistics is the fourth. So those all are use cases as examples that we can serve with our technology. On the next slide, you will see what range we can cover in the example of Oslo. If we think of a forth and back round trip from Oslo, we see that we can cover a 20 kilometers range. And if we go one way, we can up to 40 kilometers. This covers 5,000 square kilometers that the Volvo drone can serve in the Oslo region. And on the next slide, you see that this technology is actually a very synergetic, value-adding application that covers multiple areas. And for that, we are looking for partners constantly. And I can't wait to open up the first commercial operation in the Nordics with our technology. And with the last slide, I want to invite everyone to reach out to us. We are ready to start from 2022 plus commercial operations. You can reach out, and on the last slide you see an email address, volodrone@volocopter.com. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's really inspiring to see the work you have done to develop this, and also that it's flying and it's available, and you're looking for partners and to take the next step to make this actually a part of the transport system. So hopefully there could be some of the participants at this conference could be interested and would take contact. So thank you very much. Now we have 3 more presentations from goods owners, which has implemented zero-emission transport solution. And the next one out will be Patrick Nyholm from Elis. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, and welcome to Elis Textile Service. My name is Patrick Nyholm, and I'm procurement manager for Sweden. We can go to the next slide. And the focus today is about the tender for Stockholm Stad, which we have won, and include zero emission transport with electrical vehicles. But distribute with electrical vehicles is nothing new for us. We have now for 2 years been operating with the Volkswagen e-Crafters. It's mainly within the mat business where we normally use 3.5-ton vehicles. Now we take the next step and move forward with the 3 new Volvo FL electric 16-ton vehicles, so we can distribute more and bigger volumes. One of these 16-ton vehicles will be used for distributing textiles from our laundry in Eskilstuna to a hub in southern Stockholm for Stockholm Stad as customer. This one step is a journey that we have to be fossil-free 2030. To be there 2030, we need to have tested trials with real cases with the most optimal distributed solution in all our business areas. This new truck in Stockholm will help us to evaluate pros and cons of city distribution with electric. Next slide. We work with a circular model where we send out our textiles to our customers and take them back for laundry and repair. Our focus is to have as sustainable textile as possible. We want to use the textile as long as possible with optimal quality. We have an offensive target for sustainable work and have also joined the science-based targets in order to verify our way towards the Paris Agreement. With in-house logistics, we have a full support from the management to find the best and quickest way towards fossil-free transport 2030. With this support, we can participate in such tenders as Stockholm Stad with advanced requirements, even though there's a new technique, and most probably it will be more costly than the normal traditional transports. In order to drive the work internally, we have a group working with fossil-free vehicles, with team members from different parts of the company who can act as ball plank and inspire the rest of the organization.
Patrick, 1 minute left.
Then we go to next slide. With 15 e-Crafters, 5 heavy trucks with liquefied biogas and 2 heavy trucks with ethanol and 1 electric hybrid Scania, we are testing several different techniques in order to find the best solutions in the areas we operate. We need to change now, and we cannot be afraid to move into unknown areas. That's why we the last months have ordered additional 22 e-Crafters and also these new 3 Volvo vehicles. So yeah, for us, we need to be there. We need to be in the forefront to take care of the environment and also to take care of our customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and a very good example of a public procurement from the city of Stockholm, which is important to drive the market and give opportunities for companies like you, which are forward-leaning, changing to zero emissions transport solutions. The next one out is Marius Råstad from Oslo in Norway. Welcome.
Thank you, Marius. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just waiting for my presentation, and here it goes. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Marius Råstad. I'm representing the company Oslo, which is the grocery wholesaler in Norway. I'm going to give you a very short insight on what we are doing to reach a zero emission fleet and a green distribution. Next slide, please. We are a very energy consuming company. We have 13 regional warehouses located around in Norway, and all the warehouses are chilled, so we're spending a lot of energy to cool down our warehouses. Our transport activities also produces a lot of kilometers in order to reach our customers and the transportation between our warehouses. So we're generating a lot of kilometers and spending a lot of energy on transport activities. But in this context, our warehouses plays an important role because we are also using them to produce energy, not just spend it. We have installed solar cell panels on all our roofs. We have also invested in our own windmill park located just outside the city of Stavanger. So today we are self-sufficient on renewable and clean energy, producing just below 100 gigawatt hours with solar and wind energy to serve our operations. So why are we doing this? Next slide, please. We have a company ambition to be sustainable and climate neutral. Our goals are to use renewable energy only, to only use renewable fuels on our fleet, and to have a zero-emission truck fleet within 2026. We have 700 trucks approximately in operations every day to serve our customers. And as you can see, our customers is everything from small shops in local communities up north in Norway to big supermarkets in the cities and everything in between. So this is what we're aiming for, to be emission-free within 2026. Next slide, please. We believe that battery electric and hydrogen electric trucks will be the future solution, but we know that there are also a way to go before the technology is ready. But we also believe that biofuels is a temporary solution, but plays a role until battery and hydrogen electric solutions are commercialized and available in a larger scale. Next slide, please.
1 minute left, Marius.
Thank you. This is my last slide. We have just finished now a field testing 2 battery electric Scanias, early generation. So they had limited range, but we have tested them in our operations in the city of Oslo, and they're working very well. We have done some analysis of our routes, and we see that almost 70% or more can be handled using battery electric trucks. We are looking forward to taking use the next generation battery electric trucks because we know, and John from Scania also told us, that the range is going to be improved a lot, which enables us to use them in an even larger scale. So in 2021, we are aiming for 25 battery electric trucks in operation within 2021, and before 2023, we will have 75 trucks in operation. Sorry, 2023. We're going to use the trucks in city distribution and also to regional distribution in the cities of Oslo, Bergen, Arendal, and Vestby. And the next step, we will roll out to the other warehouses as well. So basically, that's it. It was a very short insight on what we're doing. So thank you very much for your attention.
And thank you very much, Marius. It's really good to see both what you are doing and your very good ambitions and decisions to, within 5 years, to change totally to zero-emission transport. And with 700 trucks, you are important and large customers driving the market for zero-emission transport solutions. Very good. The next one and the last one for this pitch session presentation is a large global player and company with a lot of transport all over the globe, and we are looking forward to hear what then IKEA is doing to change the zero-emission transport solution. And welcome, Theodor Backström.
Thank you very much for that welcome. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
That's great. So in IKEA, we have a vision, and that vision is to create an everyday better life for the many people. Being a retailer in 2021, that obviously puts sustainability in the very center of our agenda. We have decided to be in this game in order to make a change, and our ambition is to have a net positive climate footprint by 2030. That will not be easy, but it's fundamental for our business and also for our environment. We announced yesterday that we're funding this agenda with an additional 4 billion euros for the years to come, on top of the 2.5 that we have previously funded for investments in the area of new and green technology. However, achieving our ambition requires not only investments, it also requires that all parts of our value chain needs to develop and become more efficient and reduce emissions. Last mile deliveries, which I'm working for here in IKEA Norway, is a big driver for CO2 emissions. And if we jump to the next slide, we have in this area committed globally that by 2025, 100% of our last mile activities will be on either electric vehicles or other zero emission solutions. When I was asked by Jenny at Zero to sum up a couple of the biggest challenges and areas that we're working on in order to achieve our goals, we landed in a list of the following 3 that you will see on the next slide. And to sum it up, we want to put vehicles on the very top of that list. We need efficient zero emission replacements for the 3.5 ton trucks that is very popular in our operation today. In this area, we are teaming up with both transport service partners, working super close with our main transport service partner in Norway, Bring, on this agenda, but also vehicle manufacturers to both develop and test and deploy new vehicles that are relevant to our operation. Second area is the charging infrastructure. And here we want to remove charging from the list of barriers for this transformation by improving both the availability of actual chargers, but also the speed of charging. So what we're doing here is that we're installing chargers at all our units in the Nordics and in the most other countries as well, to be mentioned. We're also cooperating with our transport service partners on the same development in their network. Last area is governmental policy, because all changes actually require quite clear direction in order for it to be efficient. We very much support and welcome acceleration driven by both incentives, but also regulations and limitations to the way that we operate. We have budgeted for this transformation, but we also believe that we will see gains by improving total cost of ownership on the longer term horizon. We actually start to see those indications in our work in this area today already.
1 minute.
Yes.
1 minute left.
All good. We believe that this will also kind of be a license to operate in the quite soon future in order to reach the homes of many of our customers living in the city center areas. If we move to the next slide, I also just want to mention 2 words on the way we do development in this area, because we see that the solutions that we develop needs to be relevant and available for the full industry, not only for us in IKEA. If we ask ourselves, do we think that we will make it? The solutions were not on the table when we committed to the goals. However, we feel optimistic about the 2025 target for the zero emission, but uncomfortable enough to keep us moving with full energy. Next slide. Just some good news. We have shown that growth can be decoupled from climate footprint growth. So turning clock back a couple of years, we see that we have been able to move our business into a growth of 14% while decreasing greenhouse gas emissions with the same number. And on the very next slide, I just want to say thank you for listening in. I will stay with you in the chat for any questions, and also feel free to reach out in case there are topics that you want to discuss further in this area. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Theodor. And we are looking forward to see many more zero emission delivery vans and services to IKEA all over the world to be zero emission last mile within 2025. Very good. To wrap it up, all these good pitches and all the conference, the seminar, Odd Olav Skei from DFÖ will have a short wrap up.
Thank you for that, Marius. Do you see my slide?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And to wrap up, all these presentation is quite challenging, but I will try. It all started with, can we get the next one? It started with a joint statement from all those public buyers, which is a clear sign to all the suppliers. This is the direction we want to go into. And towards all this, we have had a presentation from, how many was it? 11, 13 suppliers. And this dialogue between the buyers and the suppliers is important to find good solutions. At the most, I think we've almost 130 participants in the webinar. And now we're going into the dialogue, one-to-one meeting. And I hope you will find some good solution, maybe some big good solution, and maybe some small. And this is a quote from some of the good presentations, which I have taken note of towards in the end. And to sum it up, I've taken with me the 17 sustainable goal. We have the partnership to reach out, to reach the goals, and that is what we are doing now in the end. There are also some pictures about some of the solutions I was impressed about. So now I just want everybody to have a good meeting one-to-one, try to find good solution, and maybe scale them up to reach out for the common goal we all have, to find zero emission solutions for the logistics. So that was a short wrap-up summit of all the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Odd Olav. It's not easy to wrap up 18 presentations in 2 minutes. So and for the project. So thank you very much for all speakers with short and very good, precisely presentations. So hopefully all of the participants has got a very good total impression of all the solutions available, and also the work in at least some of the large cities and upcoming procurement. So it's very good. I would like to thank you all for participating.